Mr. Naim, thank you for joining the program of Jazeera Balkans. Is Hamas encouraged by the opinions of the Arab League, of the Organization of Islamic Countries, and the European Union when it comes to deportation of Palestinians in Gaza as proposed by Trump? In addition to that, what is your opinion on the support regarding the two-state solution?
Thank you very much. I think usually when someone committing a crime, he has to be accountable for his crime. In a lot of other cases, any country who has attacked other people, they are paying the price for their crimes. But in our case, because until now the whole world is dealing with Israel as a state above the law, therefore they are seeking for someone else to pay for their crimes. But anyway, we Palestinians, we are welcoming any efforts from any party, the Arab League, OIC, EU or UN efforts to support the Palestinians, especially in the Gaza Strip, to rebuild their life again, to restart their life again. We believe that Gazans or Palestinians alone cannot afford such huge budget. We are talking about 50 to $70 billion at least needed for the rebuilding of Gaza again. We are talking about a very sophisticated process. Especially in the case of Gaza, which is under a very suffocating siege from the Israeli side, we need this international intervention, this international pressure to lift the siege and to allow all the needed material to go into Gaza. On the other hand, yes, we are welcoming these plans and these efforts and this step because the idea, if we can consider it as a rational idea from President Trump to ask 2 million Palestinians to leave their countries, which is according to the international law is an ethnic cleansing, a crime against humanity. Yes, we are in need for an alternative plan to rebuild Gaza while the Palestinians are still there. Generally, Palestinians are not going to leave their country. Palestinians are still ready to sacrifice anything in order to protect their existence in their homeland. They are ready to live in tents for years above their rubble, but they are not ready at any time to leave the country. When it comes to the two-state solution, I think this is a hypothetical question because we Palestinians, we have signed an agreement in 1993, the so-called Oslo Agreement, and after 30 years we see the disaster, the political disaster the Palestinians are suffering from. The Israelis have used all these 30 years in order to continue implementing their own plans. The annexation of the rest of the West Bank, Judaization of Jerusalem, changing the status quo in Al-Aqsa Mosque, besieging Gaza, dividing the Palestinians in two parts. Therefore, we can say with full confidence that this political process has failed totally. Therefore, when it comes to the two-state solution, this question has to be directed to the Israeli part. The Israelis talking publicly in front of the UN, in the media, there is no possibility, there is no chance for any other entity in this space except for one state, which is Israel. I think the Israelis are not ready to compromise for any peace or stability or security. Palestinians have already recognized in 1993 the state of Israel, but on the other hand, Israelis until now they are not ready to recognize the right of Palestinians to have a state. Therefore, we have said it many times in Hamas, we are calling for the liberation of a whole Palestine, but if we have the chance to get an independent self-sovereign state on the 67 borders with the right of return guaranteed, and this is accepted by all Palestinians, we are ready to facilitate this chance.
What if the current ceasefire fails, as we have had the chance to witness in the past week? There has been talk about potentially stopping with the exchange of hostages. What if this whole plan now and the three phases solution fails?
We have signed the ceasefire deal on January 19th, and with all good intentions to give the support for this deal to succeed, to overcome any obstacles, any challenges. But at the same time, we have followed up the implementation on the ground on a daily basis through the mediator with the Israelis. Since that time until today, we have everyday violations. They have continued to shoot against Palestinians, even beyond the area, the so-called buffer zone. Until now, they have killed more than 26 Palestinians. Second, they have delayed the return of Palestinians to their homes at least for 2 days without any excuse. Third, which is more important, until now, they are blocking the entrance of most of the needed basic materials for rebuilding simple tents or caravans. All things related to heavy machinery, electricity, generators, solar energy, rehabilitation of hospitals. I am talking about simple rehabilitation of hospitals and schools. All of this is until now is totally blocked. Now, recently we have got some promises, but what is more serious, that we have had to start the negotiations about the second phase on day 16 or after signing the agreement. Today we are in the day 28, and we have still until now we didn't start the negotiation about the second phase. This phase, which is very crucial to give this deal a chance to succeed, because in this phase we have to decide about the permanent ceasefire, total withdrawal of the Israeli forces, and a serious prisoner exchange. Until now, the Israelis are reluctant, postponing the sending of their own delegations. Therefore, we are not so optimistic that the other party is really planning and have good intentions for this deal to succeed, especially because what they have heard after the visit of Benjamin Netanyahu to Washington, that he was encouraged to launch the war again, that he has been encouraged to forceful displacement of 2 million Palestinians out of their country. This has given them a push in order to spoil or sabotage the deal.
And for the end, a twofold question. Is Hamas weakened? And in addition to that question, what about Palestinian representation? What about the leadership on a higher level? So will there be a political unity government? Will there be a national unity government?
Hamas weakened or stronger after the war, I have to remind everyone that this confrontation or this conflict is not between Hamas and Israel. It is between the Palestinians generally and Israel. And Palestinians have struggled now for more than 100 years for their freedom and dignity. Maybe at this round, Hamas was leading the Palestinians, but 20 years ago it was Fatah. 50 years ago it was PFLP and other factions. Therefore, it is not about Hamas. Second, yes, Hamas was struck strongly. You can imagine that Hamas has facing or fighting against not only Israel. Israel supported by most of the Western countries, most of superpower. But at the end, up to the last moment, Hamas was able to fight and to fight back and to respond and to harm the Israeli soldiers and vehicles. Therefore, yes, it is possible that Hamas has been weakened relatively, but Hamas is still there and able to survive and to recruit new fighters for this noble goal. When it comes to the representation of Palestinians, yes, we have a problem at the Palestinian level. We are divided in two groups, Fatah on one side in Ramallah and Hamas on the other side in Gaza. But we in Hamas, we have said it many times, unity is not a choice, unity is an obligation. We have to do the maximum to achieve our unity. But unfortunately, because of external interferences, especially from the Israelis and the Americans and some other countries, this way has been always blocked, because we have met everywhere, lastly in Pekin, in Moscow, before that in Cairo, in Algiers, and we have reached some documents which can help us, which has drawn a roadmap how to reach unity and to end the division. But At the same time, we have received messages from the outside telling the official representative of the Palestinians, which is the PLO leadership in Ramallah, either Hamas or Israel, either peace negotiations or reconciliation. And unfortunately, they have chosen the other choice. They have blocked these efforts in order to go for the negotiations. But practically, since 2014, there was no serious negotiations between the Israelis and the Palestinians. We hope that at some time soon can we achieve our unity. We believe that there is a roadmap agreed upon by all factions, including Fatah. This roadmap is starting by forming a unity government formed of independent technocratic people without any political tasks. Their limited functions is to rebuild Gaza, to prepare for comprehensive election, and to unite the institutions. This, within 1 year or 2 years, this technocratic government can prepare for election to give again the Palestinian people on the ground the chance to choose their leadership, to decide for their political track, and we are ready to respect the democratic choice of our people and to accept it and to help or to facilitate any coming elections.